Okay. Today we have a request video, which is very exciting, from Snake Doctor PhD. Yeah. He asked me a while ago, he sent me a PM about the Trayvon Martin case, and I said, I don't feel comfortable talking about that now because it's still in the media. It hasn't been decided yet. He said, why don't you talk about the racial implications and shit like that? And I'm thinking to myself, I really did want to do that, but I didn't think it would go over well. Well, fuck them, because it's going to go over well. So, I had the idea in my head, he forced it a little more, and here we go. Now, first and foremost, unlike MSNBC News, we are going to give George Zimmerman the benefit of the doubt. He is innocent until proven guilty. And let me tell you something. There are some countries in this world where you are guilty until proven innocent, which means your defense attorney has to prove you innocent. Otherwise, you're automatically guilty and go to prison. You ever see Locked Up Abroad? There was this dude, he's an American. He goes down to South America, hooks up with drug cartels, takes some cocaine, straps it to his body, gets on a plane and flies to Spain. He's busted at the airport. He is as guilty as fucking Pablo Escobar. From the airport, he's transported to a prison. And prison in other countries, okay, if you think American prisons are bad, I want you to go to another country's prison, okay? He's put in a prison in Spain for 18 months. And then 18 months later, he gets a letter from a judge saying he got 9 years in prison. I don't know if that's including the 18 months or not including the 18 months. He did not see the judge. He did not have a lawyer. He did not confront witnesses. He did not have the ability to make a plea deal for a lesser sentence. They put him in prison, and then when they got around to it, they told him, oh, by the way, here's your letter. You got 9 years in prison. And there are other countries where they don't need trial. They just cut your fucking head off. Okay? So before you bash the justice system in America, get on your knees and thank God you don't live in one of those fucking countries. I'm serious. I am dead fucking serious. Now, the liberal media, in particular MSNBC News, has gone out of their way to make George Zimmerman look bad. Maybe George Zimmerman is bad. I wasn't there. Now, the liberal media publicly said George Zimmerman has yet to be arrested. They showed a picture of him wearing an orange shirt, and they showed video footage of him coming out of a police car wearing handcuffs. So, where do you get this hasn't been arrested yet? He was arrested. Local authorities didn't want to press charges. He was released, and then the special prosecutor forced a hand. Now, George Zimmerman has a black friend, and I say that specifically, black friend. His black friend, I forget the guy's name, said, George isn't a racist, I've known him 6 years. Sean Hannity is the only media person willing to talk to this guy. Also, George Zimmerman tutored black kids on the weekend. Also, I've heard, this could be false, but I've heard if you climb up George Zimmerman's family tree, there are a few black people in his family tree. Also, George Zimmerman is a registered Democrat. But you can't talk about that because it doesn't make him look to be a racist. ABC News, to their credit, showed a picture of George Zimmerman with his head all bloody. And they showed it to say, you know, this guy might have a legitimate argument. Liberal media, MSNBC does not show that. Because showing George Zimmerman bleeding from the head backs up his theory of self-defense. So they're not going to show it. A black guy coming out saying, I've known George 6 years, he's not a racist? that doesn't show him as a racist, therefore they don't show it. Also, let's look at, do you know how to do a lineup, a criminal lineup? You have a suspect in custody. Let me see if the camera's on. Well, I want to make sure the fucking camera's on. Sorry. It is. I look like a dick. Okay. When you do a lineup, it takes 30 seconds to a minute to do a lineup. You have a bunch of guys line up, witness comes in another room, looking through mirror, one-way mirror. Number 5 is the guy that I saw. That's the guy that robbed me. That takes 30 seconds. Now, setting up the lineup takes several hours, okay? I've heard they get cops to go into the lineup. I've heard they get high school students. I've heard they go to the corner and get guys in the street. I've heard they go to the local jail and tell the superintendent of the local jail, here, we need 5 guys that basically look a little bit like this color skin, about this height, because you have a suspect, okay? You have to get people that look like the suspect to put in the lineup so it looks fair. Let me give you an example. I have 5 guys wearing t-shirts and jeans. Next to them, the 6th guy, orange jumpsuit, leg irons, shackles, all like a fucking... And I tell the witness, who's guilty? The orange jumpsuit protrudes in his mind. Also, I take 5 guys with 3-button golf shirts and khaki pants. I have 1 guy come in. This guy's got his pants down. He's got his underwear up like a fucking thug. He's got a toothpick in his mouth. Okay? He's got on a bandana or some shit. Okay? Who's guilty? That guy is. Also, 5 guys with really nice handmade suits. Stand up. Another guy. Baggy sweatpants. No, black boots, black pants, white t-shirt, red suspenders, no hair, all fucking tattoos and swastikas and 8-8 and all that other, white power shit. Who looks guilty? That guy does, okay? You have to try to avoid making someone look guilty. Now, when they show the pictures in the liberal media, picture of George Zimmerman, less than an hour after he killed a man, wearing an orange suit. Trayvon Martin, 12 years old in the picture, wearing a red shirt, smiling like a little kid. Also, Trayvon Martin holding a baby. And they want that to show. This thug killed this innocent kid who's holding a baby. Okay? They want you to think, okay, George Zimmerman is guilty. They are trying to go out of their way to make him guilty. Maybe, he might be guilty as a motherfucker. We don't know. We're not there. We weren't there. That's why we have court and trial and judge and jury. Because we're not there. We don't know what happened and we need evidence. 6th Amendment. You shall be tried by a jury of your peers. You shall have legal counsel and you shall confront witnesses against you. 6th Amendment to the Constitution. I think there's a couple amendments in there. One of them is the 6th. Okay. Now, it is very, very hard to get an non-biased jury. New York City, 1,000 murders a year, 200 shootings a month. They stopped counting stabbings. It's very easy to get a jury that doesn't know about the case. But high-profile case, whether it's in New York City or Florida or Colorado or Montana or California, high-profile case, all over the news. You live in that town. You innocently read the newspaper every day, which is your right. 3 months later, you get a jury notification. Next thing you know, you're in the fucking courtroom. Holy shit, that's the guy from the... The judge has to get an unbiased jury, fair and impartial. The judge doesn't want you to think the guy's innocent. The judge doesn't want you to think the guy's guilty. The judge wants you to know nothing about the case at all. And the only influence the judge wants is the evidence that you see in the courtroom in his presence. That's why when you're on a jury, the judge tells you, don't read the paper, don't watch the news. If you see guys talking about it, walk away. The only evidence the judge wants you to hear and see is the evidence that is in the courtroom in his presence. It is impossible for a high-profile case to get a fair and impartial jury. And the liberal media is going out of their way to make sure it's even less fair, less impartial. It's bad enough he killed the fucking kid. Let's portray him as a racist. Okay, he has a black friend. Let's ignore his black friend. He tutored black kids. Let's ignore that. Let's focus on the fact that this was this and that was that. Fair and impartial means dick to these fucking people. Okay? It means dick to them. Now, the most obvious bias in the fucking case, the 911 call. George Zimmerman allegedly said fucking cold on a 911 tape. Now, the liberal media translated that, you know, when they play the recording and they do the translation on the bottom. Fucking coon. Coon is a curse word for a black person. They don't use it as much as they used to back in the day, but coon is a curse word for a black person. Well, that's an accident. They probably made a mistake. Maybe they did. Here's what's not an accident. When you call 911, you report a suspect. What is the first thing you notice about me? I'm a man. And you notice my skin color. I'm a white man. Then my t-shirt. Then my hair. Then my eyes. Then my mustache. Then my mole. I have ugly moles here. Okay? Your gender, your skin color. Those are the two most prevalent things that the police need to know to find you. Because if I call 911 and I say I need a cop out here, what the fuck is the cop looking for? He's looking for an Asian female who's about 5'3", has long hair and a ponytail, and she's wearing white shirt with gray pants. Okay, now the officer knows what to look for. Trayvon, George Zimmerman said there's a suspicious guy in my neighborhood. Guy means male, girl means female. We've already established the suspect, Trayvon Martin, is a man. Okay. Then the 911 dispatcher says, what is he? White, black, Hispanic. And they will ask you that. White, black, or Hispanic. And when you pick up the phone and dial 911, I see a black male. I see an Asian female. I see a Hispanic male. I see a white male. Tell them the skin color so that they know. I don't want to sound mean, but that's how they know. They see your skin color. Now, the media, the liberal media, MSNBC, edited out the 911 dispatcher's question, white, black, Hispanic. He looks black. So they cut it down to suspicious guy, he looks black. Because if the dispatcher says white, black, Hispanic, and you answer, it looks black, that's not racist. But if you go suspicious, he's black, racist. Racist. Racism. Racism. Okay? They want to portray it as racism. They have to portray it as racism. That's the only way to do it. Now, there are other instances that are believed to have happened where... Fuck that clock. Where... Okay, and I don't believe in racism. I will condemn racism all the time. No matter what coin we're looking at. What side of the coin we're looking at. Okay? Enough already, what the fuck? It's only 1 o'clock, only ring once. Fucking. Anyway. There were black suspects that attacked white victims and said, this is for Trayvon. I'm not going to condone that no matter who it is. A white suspect or a black suspect. White victim or black victim. I'm not going to condone racism. I'm going to call it like I see it. Also, Bill O'Reilly reported a case. There was a white man and a white female who worked for a newspaper driving to a neighborhood. And they were ambushed by 30 black men, 30 black people, possibly men, and they were beaten. Their own newspaper did not report it. Bill O'Reilly is investigating it because he thinks there's a chance it might be racism. Maybe they were beaten because they were white. Maybe they were beaten because they were in the wrong place at the wrong time and they had the wrong people looking at them funny. But liberal media doesn't talk about that. In Chicago, which is twice as violent as LA and 3 times as violent as New York City, gun control works, don't it? Chicago had 46 shootings over a weekend. Most of them were minority on minority. One incident, a cocksucker jumped out with a fucking fully automatic AK and opened up on a house and killed a fucking baby. A baby. We're killing fucking babies in this world. Where's the liberal media then? Mm-hmm. Now, the liberal media is talking about racism. Who the fuck are you to talk? Do you remember last year Herman Cain was running for election? Running for office? Every time a woman said, he touched me or I slept with him, the media was more than happy to talk to her no matter how stupid it sounded. They didn't want to talk to him, they wanted to talk to her. Get her side only. In addition to that, the media, the liberal media, called Herman Cain every single solitary racial slur in the English fucking language. Every word you can think of, on television, publicly. Also, there were, we're going to say it plainly, there were black Americans who were videotaped, asked about Herman Cain, and they called Herman Cain racial slurs. Can you imagine a black American calling he who must not be named by a racial slur? No. Can you imagine a black American calling Al Sharpton a racial slur? No. They called Herman Cain every racial slur in the English language. This is a poor man, black man, grew up in the South during segregation, went to college, got a degree in mathematics, became a civilian scientist for the Navy, helped develop missiles to defend our country, left public sector, went into private sector, Godfather's Pizza, Burger King, National Restaurant Association, corporations that were bankrupt, brought them back from the brink of bankruptcy. You may not agree with his policies, you may have problems with him here and there, but do you need to call Herman Cain every single solitary racial slur in the English language? And then talk about how George Zimmerman's a racist. George Zimmerman kills a kid, the kid's black, Zimmerman's a racist. Okay, Herman Cain is words I'm not going to say on here, but we're not racist. Man, fuck you. Jesse Jackson. Now, Jesse Jackson's daughter is on Fox News. Let me tell you something. Total contrast to her father. She speaks respectful, she's very intelligent, she offers both sides of the story, and 9 out of 10 times I agree with her. Nothing like her father. Jesse Jackson, when I was in high school, I was out in school, my father's retired, he's home watching court TV. There was a black man put to death for killing a white man. Jesse Jackson is protesting this. Yeah. He's down by the prison, the execution's already happened, court TV is on, they got him via satellite, and they said to him, the correspondent said, are you protesting because this defendant was black? No, I don't believe in the death penalty. Okay. And then the guy said, well, next week, I don't know if it's that prison or another prison in another state, but next week, they're executing a white man that killed a black man. He deserved to die. And the guy said, wait a minute, but you don't believe in the death penalty, but he deserved to die. But if you don't believe in the death penalty, how is it that he deserves to die, but the other guy doesn't? Okay? So Jesse Jackson's a fucking moron. Okay? Al Sharpton. I mentioned this before, I'm going to mention it again. Al Sharpton. Many years ago, I think it was New York City, there was a Jewish guy who ran over a black kid. Now, you could have both hands on the wheel, seatbelt buckled, traveling lower than the required speed, eyes dead on the road in front of you. A kid just runs down the road and it happens. It happens. And the kid weighs what? Less than 100 pounds? The car weighs 2,000 pounds? The car's going to win. I don't know if it was murder. I don't know if it was an accident. I don't know if the guy wasn't paying attention. I don't know. Al Sharpton led a riot into a Jewish neighborhood. Now, I punch a guy in the face. He ends up being Jewish. That's assault. I punch a guy in the face because he's Jewish. That's a hate crime. Al Sharpton led a group of savages into a Jewish neighborhood. And they started a riot. Okay? And one of Al Sharpton's goons pulled out a knife and stabbed the Jewish man to death for no reason. Now, that is a hate crime. That is a riot. That is murder. Al Sharpton should be in federal prison for murder because he started the riot and one of his followers murdered someone. He is just as guilty as the guy that did the stabbing. He's a murderer. He's a murderer. Okay? And Al Sharpton comes out, "We demand justice! We demand justice!" Fuck you, Al. Fuck you. You demand justice. He did not demand justice when one of his own followers killed a Jewish man in a race riot. A fucking race riot. We demand justice. Bobby Rush. Congressman Bobby Rush. You may have seen him on the news. He went to the floor of the Congress. Just because someone is wearing a hood does not mean he put the hood up, put the sunglasses on. And I think John Boehner was out that day, and there was someone else controlling the floor. You guys got a fucking hammer, this big bang, bang. The chair does not recognize you, sit down, bang, bang. Sergeant at arms, please clear the bang, bang. When you go to a meeting, the chairman says, "I recognize you. Speak." Then the chairman says, "I do not recognize you. Sit down, be quiet." Bobby Rush is putting on a display about wearing hoods, and they ended up calling the sergeant at arms to tell him to sit down. Let me tell you something right now. I'm the sergeant at arms. We're at a meeting. The chairman says sit down, you sit your ass down, or I'm throwing you out by your fucking throat. Okay? When you're at a meeting, the chairman says sit down and be quiet, you're done talking. The sergeant at arms is the security officer for the room. He can legally, I don't give a fuck if you're the Pope. If the chairperson says the chair does not recognize you, sit down. He can legally pick you up and throw you out of the fucking room. Courtroom. The judge. The judge says sit down and be quiet. The court officer is security for the courthouse. He can legally pick you up and throw you out of the courtroom. He can legally arrest you for trespassing. Okay? Now, Bobby Rush is talking about just because this, just because that. Bobby Rush is a prominent member of the fucking Black Panthers. Only Chicago would elect a Black Panther to Congress. It's a disgrace. It's a disgrace. Okay? You belong to an organization that hates white people. Who the fuck are you to judge anybody? Okay? Frederica Wilson. Frederica Wilson, you know Frederica Wilson. She's a congresswoman down in Florida. She always has a matching cowboy hat. Okay, pink cowboy hat, black, blue, red. Her cowboy hat always matched her outfit. She made a press conference with Trayvon Martin's mother standing behind her. Trayvon was hunted down and racially profiled. Okay, here's Frederica's problem. Frederica used to be a state legislator for Florida. And she voted for the Stand Your Ground law. Wait a minute. You're in Florida. You vote for the Stand Your Ground law. A few years later, you're in Congress. A man shoots another man and claims Stand Your Ground self-defense. Racially profiled and hunted down. Okay? Let's go to the worst attorney general in the history of the United States. Okay? And I hope to God next year, next January, has a prison cell with a really big guy that's really, really nasty for this guy. Eric Holder. Eric Holder said if George Zimmerman beats the case, assuming George Zimmerman beats the case before January 20th, 2013, when Eric Holder loses his job. Eric Holder says he will prosecute George Zimmerman for infringing on Trayvon's civil rights. Okay? Does he want to go there? Let's go there, my friend. Let's go there with him. In 2008, on election day, in Philadelphia, there was a Black Panther who was videotaped with a baton standing in front of a polling place chasing away white people, saying, "You're about to be ruled by the black man." I will not tolerate racism no matter who the suspect is, black or white. Racism is wrong. Now, the Bush Justice Department began an investigation into this guy. When the new Justice Department came in January of 2009, they dropped the case. This guy, this same guy, was seen on a street, videotaped, with the bullhorn. He saw a race mixed couple. Now, supremacists hate race mixing. White supremacists, black supremacists. They all hate race mixing. Okay? They say race mixing is blood treason and the penalty for blood treason is death. Very, very, very nasty, disgusting people. The racists, the racists, not the race mixers. Okay? There's a race mixed couple there. This motherfucker's got a bullhorn and he starts threatening them. I'm like, you gotta fucking, first of all, I don't give a fuck what people do, okay? I've seen black and white, I've seen Asian and Hispanic, okay? I don't give a fuck what you're doing about it. It's not my business. I've seen gays, I've seen lesbians, I just don't give a fuck. It's not my concern. You're 18, do what you want, I don't give a fuck. He threatens the race mixed couple. Then he says, we need to kill cracker babies. Cracker. Curse word for a white person. Baby. Baby. We need to kill cracker babies. Where is Eric Holder? Also, there were Black Panthers down in Florida on camera saying, we have a reward for the capture of George Zimmerman, dead or alive. If the government don't want to do their job, we'll do it for them. First of all, are you a judge? Are you a sheriff? You're not a fucking agent of the law, you're a fucking vigilante. So you have people taking the law into their own hands. Where's Eric Holder? I don't know. Where is he? I'm looking for Eric Holder. Where Eric? Where are you, you fucking asshole? Where is he? I can't find him. Also, there was a radio broadcast. We will kill crackers and pigs and honkies. We will kill crackers and pigs and honkies. River of blood, the blood will flow. Kill crackers and pigs and honkies. Where is Eric Holder? They are calling for a race war to kill people. Where is Eric Holder? But Eric Holder says if Zimmerman beats the case, he'll prosecute on the federal level. You know what? Zimmerman should tell Eric Holder he's a drug dealer. That way he'll get a machine gun for free. Now, let's talk to he who must not be named. He who must not be named is worse than all these people put together. Talk about this. If I had a son, he looked like Trayvon. Well, if I had a dog, he looked like the one you ate. Okay? Now, I might make a video of this maybe a few more weeks. There was a guy named Bill Ayers. He found the Brinks robbery I'm talking about in a few more weeks. There was a guy named Bill Ayers. He founded a terrorist group called the Weathermen or Weathermen Underground or Weather Underground. That's several different names. Now, Bill Ayers bombed New York City Police Headquarters. Bill Ayers bombed the Pentagon. And there is a picture. It says, Bin Laden and he who must not be named. Both had friends that bombed the Pentagon. Now, Bill Ayers bombed New York City Police Headquarters. Bill Ayers bombed the Pentagon. Bill Ayers was the leader and founder of a terrorist group that was responsible for robberies, bombings, murders, okay, in the name of the Communist Party. Bill Ayers is friends with he who must not be named. They sit on couches together. They had dinner at each other's houses. They sat on boards together. They always hung out back in the good old days. On September 11, 2001, New York City was attacked. Not the police headquarters, the World Trade Center, and the Pentagon was attacked. Now, Bill Ayers, like Bin Laden, attacked New York City. Like Bin Laden, attacked the Pentagon. On September 11th itself, when Democrats and Republicans are holding hands, Bill Ayers comes out, I do not regret setting off bombs. Okay? Jeremiah Wright. I will not call Jeremiah Wright a minister. He's a scumbag. Jeremiah Wright is an anti-American black supremacist. Racist to the nth degree. Hates white people. Hates America. It's disgusting. This guy calls himself a minister. Ugh. September 12th, 2001. The day after Bill Ayers says, I do not regret setting off bombs. Jeremiah Wright. God damn America. God damn America. On videotape. Who went to his so-called church for 20 years and didn't stop going until right before the 2008 election? He who must not be named. Who attended a Black Panther rally around 2007, 2008? He who must not be named. Okay? Now, he who must not be named takes over in 2009. There's a picture of him shaking hands and hugging Hugo Chavez. Hugo Chavez is the communist dictator of Venezuela. He went to the United Nations and said, Americans suck, fuck America, America this and that. And as soon as he who must not be named takes over in 2009, hugging him, shaking hands with him, taking pictures with him. Okay? Yes, not Yasser Arafat. Muammar Gaddafi. Muammar Gaddafi's people set off a bomb on a plane. The bomb comes crashing down and lands in Lockerbie, Scotland and kills people on the ground. He who must not be named met Muammar Gaddafi. And there's a smile on his face like he's meeting Santa Claus. Yeah, hello Muammar Gaddafi, I'm he who must not be named. I'm so glad to meet you, you kill Americans. Okay? The Muslim Brotherhood. The Muslim Brotherhood says, when we take over Egypt, we're going to implement Sharia law and destroy Israel. Here's how it works in Sharia law. Jews, Christians, and women are slaves. They have no rights, no voting, no jobs, no nothing. You have no rights at all. Even a moderate Muslim man will not have rights under Sharia law. The only people that have rights under Sharia law are Muslim men that subscribe to hate. Under Sharia law, a woman, no job, no education. She has to wear a veil. She can only leave the house if she's accompanied by a male relative. Her father sells her to her husband. She doesn't choose her husband. When she walks around public, she cannot talk unless the male escort gives her permission. Okay? He's allowed to beat her. A woman in if a woman in Sharia law claims rape, she has to have 4 male witnesses willing to testify against the rapist. Now, if you rape a woman and 4 men catch you, they're either A, gonna do nothing because they're just as sick as you are, or B, they're gonna beat you to death. Okay? So if you have 4 male witnesses that watch women get raped, they're either gonna kill the guy or let him go because they're just as sick as he is. They're not gonna testify against him. It's kind of like, do you know how they said, okay, black people can vote, but only if they pass a literacy test, which is administered by a white supremacist. It's kind of like that, okay? It's catch-22. You can report a rape, but only if you have 4 men willing to testify on your behalf. Okay? Women are stoned to death. Women are beheaded. There was a woman in Sharia law, under Sharia law, She was 18. She was raped by a 40-year-old male relative. They gave him a medal. They gave her 80 lashes with a whip. Okay? That's Sharia law. Women, Jews, and Christians are slaves. He who must not be named pledged support for the Muslim Brotherhood after they threatened implement Sharia law, invited them to the White House, and pledged $1.5 billion to them. So much for a Republican war on women. Okay, now, Robert Byrd. Robert Byrd was a Democrat. He was the longest reigning senator in U.S. history. He was the longest reigning politician in U.S. history. He was a fanatical member of the Ku Klux Klan. He recruited 150 people for the Klan in an era where the Klan was violent. Nowadays, the Klan just sits around and talks all day. But many years ago, the Klan murdered people. So Robert Byrd recruited 150 guys to the Klan. It's more likely than not one of them committed a murder. Robert Byrd voted against the 1965 Civil Rights Act. He lobbied and filibustered for like 14 hours about why blacks don't deserve civil rights. When it became politically incorrect to wear white Robin Hood, he put them away. But he didn't put his ideology away, because every time a black cabinet member or judge came before Congress for approval, he voted against him. He voted against Thurgood Marshall and Clarence Thomas, against Colin Powell and Condoleezza Rice. Both sides of the aisle, Democrat and Republican, he voted against them. He voted to use our tax dollars to put abortion clinics in black neighborhoods. He said the N-word every chance he got, sometimes on cable television. He died in 2010 and went to hell. He who must not be named spoke at his funeral about what a good friend he was. Also, Bill Clinton spoke at his funeral and said he had a slight affiliation with the group. He didn't want to say the Klan. He said he had a slight affiliation with a group. First of all, to say that Robert Byrd had a slight affiliation with a certain group is kind of like saying Adolf Hitler dabbled in anti-Semitism for a little while. Okay? Now, he who must not be named. There is not a single terrorist he won't hang out with. There is not a single communist or revolutionary he won't be friends with, shake hands with, take pictures with. Okay? He is the worst one of all. Everybody around him is a racist and a fanatic. Now, all these people, they don't care about civil rights. They don't care about minorities. They don't care about anybody. They just use this as an excuse to get rally problems, rally supporters, get people fighting, and they just wanted to show what a bunch of jerk-offs they were. Every single fucking one of them. Okay? This is who they really are. You know, I expect Casey Anthony to come out and talk about how parents aren't raising their kids properly. So how's this for civil rights and civil discourse? You fucking hypocrites.